That's good.
It's going away August 1st. Yep. So it says for quick streaming, try youtube.com/webcam. All right. We'll figure it out though. All right, fellas. We are live and we're going to get started in 3, 2, 1. What's the word, everybody? Welcome to another episode of What Part of the Game Is This podcast where we talk about celebrities and talk about sports and how celebrity affect these athletes and their ability to perform. Live and direct with you right now. We got my man Jay Woods. Say what's up to the people.
Hey, what's up? It's your dude, Jay Woods.
Yeah. And then we got my man B Marsh.
Yo, what's happening, world? B Marsh Boxing, and we back at it. What part of the game is this?
Part of the game is this. So much has been happening in the past few, but it's kind of like the slowdown season when it comes to sports. You know what I mean? So we're just gonna breeze through, talk about a few headlines that we're interested in, and from there we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Not wrap it up. We're gonna turn it over to Trade. My bad. We're gonna turn it over to Trade to talk about a little bit of football, the coaching changes that's been made, and then from there we will wrap it up and say peace. All right. First things first. B Marsh, what's going on in the boxing world, man?
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Boxing world, man. Boxing's doing good, man. We got a star in the making, Javante Davis
Hmm.
from Baltimore, Maryland. He fought
Yeah.
last weekend.
Yeah. How
You
was
know,
that
the
fight?
first world title fight in Baltimore in 80 years,
Yeah.
So he packed the house, Royal Farms Arena, 14,000 deep. It's a pretty good showcase, for the young Javante Davis, 24 years old. What is he? WBA champion at 130 pounds, and he
Mm.
fought his mandatory guy named Ricardo Nunez, and Tank got him up out of there in 2 rounds. You know,
Nice.
I expected him to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because Tank got power in both hands.
Mm-hmm.
Kid is talented. He's a power puncher by nature, man. This kid is probably like 22-0 with like 21 KOs. You know what I mean?
Mm.
He's obliterating everything in front of him. But as a boxing fan, I want to see this kid now in meaningful fights.
Mm-hmm.
I understand there was a mandatory he had to fulfill, get that
Okay.
mandatory out the way, no doubt about it. He called out another champion in his division, or another title holder. I'm not going to call guys champion when there's 4 champions walking planet Earth calling themselves champions. Title
Mm-hmm.
holders, until you're unified, that's when I'm going to call you a champion. And he got his rival title holder from Philly. He fought on the same night too. Tevin Farmer. You know what I mean? They both called each other out on the same night, and hopefully they can make that fight happen soon.
Yeah.
Tank Davis is a talent, but we want to know how good he really is. We can't find that out when every fight he's going into is probably against a smaller guy, a guy coming up in weight. And there's some good opponents out there for him. Gay Russell Jr. from Capitol Heights, Maryland, a division lower than Tank Davis. He wants that smoke.
Mm.
He's been called him out, man. Go check it out on YouTube. He got a video with Gilly the Kid at a fight I was at. That video went viral.
Mm.
Jared Hurd versus J Rock, a fight I was at maybe in March, no May,
Yeah.
excuse me, May. And yeah, man, Gay Russell from Capitol Heights, man, he called him out, man. He said
Wow.
this man was faking, Slim. He checking, Gay Russell don't even really talk too hard. Like, he just talks regular, but that DC came up out of him, you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right, right. He couldn't help it.
And he couldn't help it, man. And he wants that smoke.
Mm.
And I think Floyd Mayweather need to stop playing with Tank, man. Put that man in with a meaningful fight. Put him in there with Gary Russell.
Mm.
Capitol Heights, Maryland versus Baltimore, Maryland. Fuck it. You could have it in Baltimore, Maryland at the Royal Farms Arena. I'll be there. And I can guarantee you it's going to be a PG County and Baltimore fan. People
Mm.
going to turn up. You know what I mean? They're going to
Yeah.
show up and it's going to be a live event.
Oh,
You know what I'm
dope,
saying?
dope.
So yeah, Tank Davis, he won last weekend. But the most important fight, and I had mentioned it on last week's podcast, was the unification
Right.
at 140 pounds. WBC, WBO titles on the line. Jose Ramirez versus Maurice Hooker. A very good fight, man. The fight only went 6 rounds. Very competitive. After 5 rounds, I had it 3-2, 3 rounds to 2 in favor of the man Jose Ramirez. But in the 6th round, Jose Ramirez caught him with a straight right hand, kind of stunned the guy, then he dropped a left hook on his ass.
Mm.
Backed him up on the ropes, then he unleashed beautiful combinations, man. Straight 1-2s, left hooks, body shots, threw everything in the book, perfect, precision punching. And he stopped him. He stopped Maurice Hooker in Dallas, Texas, in Maurice Hooker's hometown. And Jose Ramirez is now the unified champion at 140 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it was a very good fight. Very tactful fight. And congratulations to both guys, because that's what boxing's all about. Putting your titles on the line to find out who's the best. You know what I mean? Rather than
Yeah.
4 guys walking planet Earth calling themselves champions,
Right.
the ring is the truth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? People can talk about who they think is the best, but when you get inside the squared circle, it's the truth. It's truth serum, and that's when we'll find out who's really the best. You know what I mean? So, a
True.
very good fight, man. Good fight. Got a good reception from the fans. Everybody who watched the fight was real impressed by Jose Ramirez. Obviously, stopping Maurice Hooker. Maurice Hooker's
Mhm.
a tall dude with a heavyweight type reach, and he's only 140 pounds. But that dude's got a freakish type of reach, 80 inch reach. You know what I mean?
Oof.
That's longer than some heavyweights.
He got some gorilla arms.
Yeah, he did. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? But I knew he wouldn't win the fight. I predicted Ramirez to win on points. I just didn't believe in Maurice Hooker. Even with that long reach, he still likes to fight and slug it out. You
Mhm.
know, rather than
Mhm.
keeping the guy at the end of his jab and his reach, you still want to bang out. And hey, man, you can't bang out with the Mexican with shorter arms on the inside, man. You're gonna get hurt, and that's what happened.
Mm.
Yes, indeed. So that was last weekend's fights. This weekend, um, we got a card on Fox, FS1, excuse me, Fox Sports One.
Uh-huh.
It's gonna be a good heavyweight affair. I mean, we got Chris Arreola. He's a Mexican American, a guy who's challenged for the world title, I believe, 3 times, and has failed every single time. If he had won it, he would have been the first Mexican American to become heavyweight champ. But now that's Andy Ruiz took that title, when
Mm.
he beat Anthony Joshua, and that's something that will be forever. Like you can't take that away from Andy Ruiz. Even if he
Yeah.
loses in the rematch, he made history. He met the Mexican president. He's been on a worldwide tour. Hopefully he'll
Yeah.
be ready and in shape for the rematch. Don't be like Buster Douglas, fuck around and get fat. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Uh,
man. But yeah, we got Chris Arreola versus another pudgy, kind of chubby guy based out of Brooklyn, originally from Poland, named Adam Kawanaki. He's undefeated. And if you guys want to see 2 heavyweights, you're going to see a knockout. And you want to see a pudgy heavyweight who got hands and is a come forward dude and lets them hands go.
yeah.
Check this fight out on Fox, I believe on Saturday, on Fox Sports 1. Adam Kawanaki versus Chris Arreola, heavyweight matchup. No title involved. It's just gonna be a big, good, fat, friendly heavyweight title. And believe you me, somebody gonna get KO'd.
Mm. All right. Good to
Yes,
know, man.
sir.
Good to know. So all right. So what time is it gonna be on this weekend? You said?
Um,
Do you know what time?
I'm not sure, but I could look it up right quick.
All right. All right. All right. Well,
Yeah,
shoot,
man.
man. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say before you finish, shout out to Baltimore, man.
Yeah.
We may be some DMV guys, but we got love for you, Baltimore.
Oh, I mean,
Shout out to
Baltimore's still part of the DMV, man. Don't sleep.
yeah,
It's still Maryland. You know what I mean?
I
yeah.
don't
Oh
think it's
yeah.
part of the DMV, man. I don't think they are.
They don't consider themselves part of the DMV.
No, they don't.
Oh man, that's a shame. That's a
Yeah,
shame.
Yeah,
shout
man.
out shout out to Morgan, Coppin, and Towson. You know what I'm saying? You know, we got family
Indeed.
up there. We still love y'all, Baltimore. You know, we got the love hate thing, but it's more love than hate.
I mean, last week we were
Yeah,
talking
man.
about how it's a working class town and that boxing should be, you know, like the fact they haven't had a title match there in like 80 years. It's
Yeah.
that's a big
Yeah.
deal. You know what I mean? So it's a good looks at it. They sold out the arena because that's only going to bring in more business for them. And you know, I love the
Yeah,
city of
thanks to
Baltimore. You know, I
Star on
lived
the
there for
rise.
about 3 years. So what'd you say?
Thanks to Star on the rise. He's backed up by Floyd Mayweather. Floyd was
Mm.
in the building too. You know what I mean?
Oh, snap. Oh, yeah. Last
So,
week you were like you didn't know if he was going to be there, so he was there too.
yeah, he
Wow, that's what's
definitely
up.
came through, and you know, a lot of Ed Reed got a big
Mm.
standing ovation. You
I
know?
mean,
Oh, of course.
yeah, man. He's like
Yeah.
royalty out that joint. Hold on. This is his last season, right? Like his retirement season?
Ed Reed been
Ed
gone for
Reed?
years.
Hold on. Who's
Ed
it?
Reed been
Somebody.
retired.
Nah. There's somebody who's doing their retirement season. He was with Baltimore. I can't remember who it is now. Oh shoot, man.
It might be Terrell Suggs, but he's not even with Baltimore no more.
Nah, it's not
Yeah,
Suggs.
he went back to
Dang,
Arizona.
what is it? I can't remember. They were like, yeah, this is his Hall of Fame season. Nah, it wasn't Ed Reed. Nah, it wasn't. Dang, I can't remember who it was now, man. It's gonna kill me now.
Yeah, I don't know.
I saw the headline just the other day. All right. Anyway,
Ed Reed retired, got gray hair and gray beards.
yeah, I'm gonna look for it. I'm gonna look to see who it is. I'm gonna keep searching. If I find the person, I'll let y'all know. But yeah, man, that was dope. That's dope that they packed the arena like that.
Yeah,
Royal
man.
Farms is not a small
Sam
place either.
Purcell, Baltimore native, he was in the building.
Mhm.
You know, they came to show support, which is good. You know, and for those who don't know, Tank Davis, I think I might have mentioned it on the show. His trainer is the real Cuddy from The Wire. If you've seen The Wire,
Mm.
if you remember Cuddy who came on from prison and
Yeah,
started
yeah.
a boxing gym.
Yeah,
Yeah, also
That's
on the Walking Dead too.
yeah. He's a big time
Oh, he
actor,
was on
man.
there. I never seen that.
Oh nah,
Yeah.
man, he be acting all over the place, man.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
on Walking Dead for like a few seasons. He's really good.
Yeah. Well, he's true story, just like in The Wire. You know, he
Yeah.
started training kids, and Javante Davis is one of the kids he's trained, and the real Cuddy is Javante Davis' trainer. His name is Calvin Ford.
Mm.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. All right. That's what's up, man. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, you've never seen me defend Baltimore as hard as I did this past weekend after what's his number 45. After 45 went on his got his
right.
Twitter fingers out and started
Yeah.
talking mess about our neighbors, man.
Yeah.
That wasn't
that
cool.
wasn't cool, man. But you know, that's Trump, man.
Yeah.
He says a lot of egregious statements.
Man, that's that's the district I used to live in, right? Was
Yeah.
that was that same district. Like I met Elijah Cummings like twice on 2 different occasions. You know what I mean? Like he stayed in the area. So it's like, how you gonna say that about homeboy? You know what I mean? It's like, dude, and not to mention that, you know what? Let me not even get into it, man. Let's leave it at that.
That's gonna be for our new podcast.
saying?
What part of the game is that?
Right. Right. No bull.
Yeah.
No bull. All right, man. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's go ahead and start chit chatting about this baseball season. Woods, man, what you got for us today, man? I know you say you wanted to. Go ahead, man. I'll let you write it out.
Yeah, man. We haven't met up too much this summer. Haven't really talked a whole lot of baseball. So now they're starting to wind down a little bit. It's about 50 or 60 games left. Yesterday was July 31st, so therefore it was the annual trade deadline, and teams had to make that decision whether they were going to be buyers and sellers, and whether or not they were going to try to make a run for this World Series.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a little bit of movement yesterday. Not a lot of bats moved at all. Not a lot of position players. Every team is doing pretty well with the hitting. Everybody just really has concerns about pitching, whether it's starting lineup or the bullpen. going forward. And a few teams, made out yesterday, and others did some things that was, some head scratchers. But we'll get to all that in a second. What I'm going to talk about right now is the pennant races. Who's in first place and who's maybe still contending for division crowns, or if they're going to try to go for the wild card. I'm starting the American League, and fitting, since we was talking about Baltimore, the American League East. As usual, Orioles are out of it, so we're not going to talk about them. But first place in the East is the New York Yankees. They're 7.5 games up on Tampa Bay and 10 up on Boston. New York and Boston were considered losers yesterday. They didn't make any trades, or if they did, it wasn't anything significant. I think they were both looking for maybe some bullpen help or maybe even a starter, but both of them struck out on that. Also in that division, I've mentioned everybody, Toronto. Toronto traded last week. They traded their ace, a young brother named Marcus Stroman, traded to his hometown, Long Island, New York, to New York Mets. To which it kind of set the market for yesterday. Like I said, the trade happened last week. A lot of teams were kind of like they said it was a bullshit move because Marcus Stroman, is a quality player, and Toronto didn't appear to get a whole lot back for him. I know he was having some problems with the front office there, and he kind of wanted out, and so they traded him to the Mets, which some people think is a head scratcher because the Mets, as of right now, are not really contending for anything right now. But I kind of understand what they did because the Mets were they have a whole bunch of good pitchers, but they're not hitting very well this year and they're out of contention. And so there was an interest in a lot of their pitchers. So they wanted to have kind of like, a contingency plan for the future just in case they did let one of their aces go. But they did not. So now the Mets have A+ starting rotation. They just need to put the rest of the team around it. Moving on to the AL Central.
What number are the Mets? What are they? Are they at the top of the division or what?
Man, the Mets are in fourth place and they are 11 games back.
Yeah. What's that pitching gonna help them with? They might be trying. They gonna need to get up there, man. Fourth place ain't gonna cut it.
They still have DeGrom, Syndergaard, Zach Wheeler. Now they have Marcus Stroman, so they have 4 quality arms, but they need to put something around it. AL Central, Minnesota is 3 games up on Cleveland. Right now, it looks like Cleveland is at the top of the wild card hunt right now. And the only other teams that might be contending for that will probably be Tampa Bay, Boston, Oakland, the LA Angels, and Texas as of right now. Those are only 5 teams who are not division leaders who are above 500 right now. Houston Astros, they're leading the AL West by 8 games. They last 2-3 years, they've been at the top of the AL between, them and Boston battling out to see who's going to go to the World Series. They won the World Series back in 2017. And, man, as of right now, they're looking like the front runners to get back there because yesterday they got former Cy Young winner Zach Greinke from Arizona. Zach Greinke's not who he was probably 4 or 5 years ago, but, with the rotation that already has Justin Verlander and Garrett Cole and Wade Miley, they're set up to, have quality pitching going into the playoffs and, hopefully for them, the World Series.
Also, that Zach Greinke over there on the Houston Astros.
Yeah. They also picked him up because Garrett Cole's going to be a free agent this year coming up after the season. They're not sure, whether he's staying or going. Moving on to the National League. little bit of a battle at the top of the NL East. Atlanta's in first place. They just had a big series with the Washington Nationals. Atlanta won that series, so now they're up 6.5 games over Washington. They both did themselves a great service yesterday. They were both considered winners because they both bolstered their bullpen with 2 or 3 quality arms. And Washington needed it because they had the worst bullpen in the league with a 6.95 ERA, which, yeah, that's not good whatsoever. So the arms that the Atlanta got were better. I think they got maybe a couple guys from San Diego and the closer from Detroit. And that was their biggest need because the guys they had weren't working out for them either. So right now, I think Atlanta has a 92% chance of winning the division, and Washington has an 89% chance of winning the wild card. They're, the class of their division. Not far behind Washington is the Philadelphia Phillies. They're 11 games behind Atlanta. They spent a lot of money in the offseason, broke Bryce Harper off with the hot cream. But a couple other guys they had, paid some money to haven't been panning out so much. But, maybe in the future, them and the New York Mets will be contending, in the near future, next year, the year after.
So Philly not even number 1 or 2 in their division?
Nah, that's Atlanta and Washington.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. Bryce Harper paid some money. I thought they'd at least be number 2 above Washington.
Yeah, Washington, had a few guys like Soto and a couple other young names. A couple young guys, have come up, kind of made a name for themselves. And Atlanta, they have a good mix of young guys and veterans. And so, both teams are playing well. In the Central, that's anybody's game right now. Chicago Cubs 1 game up on the St. Louis Cardinals. No, excuse me. They're tied atop the NL Central, and with Milwaukee Brewers 1 game behind, and Cincinnati Reds. They're in 4th place, but they made a deal for Trevor Bauer from the Cleveland Indians, frontline starting pitcher. If you watched SportsCenter the other day, he's kind of a quirky guy and, interesting guy on social media, marches a beat of his own drummer. He was mad because his manager was about to pull him out the game. So he decided to heave the baseball from the pitcher's mound over the center field fence.
What?
Now, yeah. Now, I don't know if, I don't have any context for that right there. Just know that's damn impressive right there. Like that, like the average player, if he tried to do that, might throw his arm out. You know what I mean? But yeah, for a guy to just casually just rifle a ball from the pitcher's mound over the center field fence, okay, 405 feet minus, 60, that's 345 feet.
Wow.
that's a football field and some more. Wow. So yeah, I mean that doesn't have anything to do with pitching. Right. I just thought that was impressive to talk about. And in the West, the LA Dodgers, they're running away from it. I didn't even write down how many games they're up on the rest of the division. But I mentioned that Arizona and San Diego had, made some trades where, they had let some people go. They probably got some prospects in the prospects back for them, but everybody else in that division was sellers yesterday. San Francisco and New York Met fans, they should be pretty happy because they did not let go of any of the good players that were on the trading block yesterday. So San Francisco, they keep pitcher Madison Bumgarner. The Mets, like I said, they keep Syndergaard and they keep Zach Wheeler. Yeah, man. So, we're going to see, if these moves, if they're just, moot. moot points at this part, or if they really pay off dividends for the teams who jumped out there. Let some of their young future stars go to for success now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Houston's been doing that for a few years now. So I don't know what Houston has left coming up out of the minors. After making big deals like two or three straight years. So
right.
So like I said, as of right now, the leaders are the Yankees, the Twins, the Astros, and the Indians in the American League. And then we have the Braves, the Dodgers, the Cubs, and the Nationals leading in the National League.
Dope.
Yeah, man. We'll see, man. Said my Red Sox ain't do nothing in the trade deadline.
Yeah. I mean, I used to watch any game I could. I used to play baseball. But now I basically don't really watch. I might watch on a Saturday afternoon. I might catch 1 or 2 games a year. At SunTrust Park in Cobb County. But for the most part now, I just watch the playoffs. Where every single pitch counts. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But I still play the baseball game almost every day.
On the PS?
What, the video game?
Oh yeah.
True.
I mean, sometimes I need that as a palate cleanser. Maybe I've, played some other wild game that I don't want to have crazy dreams about. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I'll, get on baseball and, pitch a few innings and, I mean, something to help me, go to sleep and have, an easy time.
A restful sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. I ain't played a baseball game in years, but I used to own 1 or 2. I think on maybe PS2 or PS3. Games used to be fun, man.
Yeah.
Shoot, back in the day, back on Nintendo, bases loaded and RBI baseball and stuff like that. Now we got MLB. Now we got MLB the Show, where you creating your own player and coming up for the minors. Right now I have a pitcher named after myself. Right now he's playing for the New Orleans Baby Cakes in the in AAA. And it's funny. I got benched because the manager came to me and was like, we want to see how you look as a reliever, and I'm like, but I'm a starter. He was like, all right, sit on the bench then. And it was like you have been benched. I'm like, damn.
Yo, what's your PS, Jane?
JAY 30315. I might change it since PlayStation now allows you to change your screen name, but it gives you a warning that some of your games might not recognize you no more. So that's why I have not done it yet.
Keep it up, man. Just keep it up. Keep it the same for now. We'll see how many people try to connect with you on that challenge to a game. Nah, I remember I used to play this one joint on Genesis back in the day, and we used to just trip out because anytime somebody would get hit by a pitch, it would actually say "hit by a pitch." And we'd be like, of course, being kids, we'd be like hit by a bitch. So
shoot, on bases loaded back in the day, if you hit the best hitter on the team, he would come charging the mound.
Oh shoot!
We would play just to try to do it.
Right.
Just like playing hockey games back in the day, just to try to fight.
Yeah. That's what we used to do too. He used to kill that Jay. Be like, all right. Let's see how many hits you get before we end up fighting.
Or on Madden back in the day, trying to get the ambulance to come out after you've crushed the quarterback.
Oh snap! I forgot about the ambulance. Yo, I remember that, Jay.
Like there was one year, there was several years where you crushed the quarterback and the ambulance would come out, but everybody would move out the way. But 1 year, I think it was Madden 92, everybody would just stand around and the ambulance would truck anybody in the way. And it was like, aren't there injuries way more severe than homeboy who was laid out right there? And dude, I used to live to see that ambulance come and mow everybody down. I used to have Buffalo Bills, Bruce Smith and Cornelius Bennett coming off the edge, and one time I just killed Dan Marino, and that ambulance came out and took out both teams.
Dang. Well, all right, fellas. Let's go ahead and hit up Trey.
Oh,
Trey,
smooth,
you got more this week, man.
smooth transition to football.
Smooth transition to football, man. Talk to him, Trey. All right, fellas, we're gonna stop it there. For everybody who just happens to be listening to this live, thanks for listening. I'm gonna stop the broadcast.